For this video, we are putting together 2 investigator decks to go through the Scarlet Keys campaign expansion for Arkham Horror. Now, I haven't played Arkham Horror in a while. I'm not that good at Arkham Horror, so my deck building skills aren't the best, so don't judge me too much on it. But for the investigators, I decided to use Daryl Simmons and Charlie Kane for this. I've never used either of them before, so you're going to just kind of see the thought process behind why I select certain cards, what I'm trying to do, what my hope and my goal is for the scenarios moving forward. So if you want to watch me play this game live, head over to twitch.tv/D20 Woodworking. Make sure to hit the follow button, turn on notifications so you know when I go live. And then also make sure to scroll down, hit the like button, hit subscribe on this YouTube channel, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you've played through Scarlet Keys, what your thoughts have been of it so far. I'm pretty interested in hearing about that, and I hope you enjoy this video. So what I decided to use is, you can see it here. I'm going to use Daryl Simmons, okay? That's made by one person, and here we can zoom up on what Daryl does. So he's a 2-5-2-3, 6-8. You begin the game with Daryl's Kodak in play. Show you that really fast so you can see what that is. Daryl's Kodak is a two-cost asset. It's his deck only. After an enemy or treachery enters play, exhaust the Kodak to place 1 resource from the token pool on the enemy or treachery as evidence. This is going to be like his whole big thing. His whole big... Ooh, that's crooked. His whole big shtick is going to be this evidence thing, which sounds kind of interesting. After you discover any number of clues, move that many evidence on enemies or treacheries at that location, or not at any location, onto Daryl's Kodak, right? So you're going to be collecting these things, these whatchamacallit, evidences. So that's gonna be the idea. Anyway, so during a skill test at your location, spend 1 evidence from the asset you control. Reduce the difficulty of this test by 2, which seems pretty cool, right? And then you can also place 1 asset onto it. So there aren't a lot of things that have evidence. On the back of his card, you can be the red or yellow, seeker or survivor, right? So I'm going to split up both of that. So the first thing that we're going to be really using with him is this dissection tool card. Because after an enemy at your location is defeated, you place 1 resource from the token pool on this card as evidence. While it has X amount of things, you get these different things, which is pretty cool. I like the idea of this card. I have 2 of them in here just in case, but I like the idea of that card. As far as evidence cards go, that's really all I saw. Again, from a cursory glance, I didn't look super hard, but basically with his kit, I think what we're looking at is God, this is still crooked, is to defeat enemies, right? Is kind of what it's sounding like, because of how the dissection tool works. And then same with the Kodak, it's after an enemy or treachery, so we need to deal with treacheries and enemies. Is basically how it seems like he's going to work. So we have End of the Road, which is a new card. I thought this was a pretty interesting card. And a lot of this stuff is just going to be kind of like having fun with new cards. The 0-cost event, fast, play during your turn only if the final agenda is play. So it's just a card you can only use at the end of the game, but it lets you draw a card, gain a resource, and gain 1 additional action, which I thought was a pretty cool thing for it to do. So we had those 2. And then there's also this new one, which I like too. The Idol of Xanatos, I think is how that is pronounced. And basically when you are dealt damage and or horror, you exhaust and discard up to 3 cards from your hand. Cancel that much damage or horror, which I thought was a pretty interesting card too. So my deck is probably going to be all over the place. It's not going to make 100% sense, and it's probably not going to be as efficient as it could be. Just turn it up. But again, I'd rather kind of just experiment with cards and have some fun and see how that goes. So that's his shtick and what we're doing with him. Now the other hero I've picked, or investigator, not hero, is Charlie Kane, just because he interests me. He seems like a dirtbag and kind of a scumbag, just from his photo. Oh my god, there's so much glare. There we go. So that's what he looks like. He's a 1 across the board, but you have 3 additional ally slots, right? So you can have a total of 4. So you have 3 additional ally slots. During a skill test, you perform exhaust an ally asset you control. For this test, you get +1 skill value, plus an additional +1 for each skill icon that ally asset has that matches this test type, right? Pretty sweet. And he's a 6/6. So what I was looking at him is just a lot of allies, basically, that I could throw into his deck. But I'm also looking at new cards like this, and don't mind the weird printing error. A bunch of my cards have these weird printing error markers. Okay, so this is a 0-cost event. You choose an investigator at your location. So I assume I could choose myself. The investigator may play an ally asset from their hand, reducing their cost by 3, which is a pretty sweet card, right, for our guy. You have to double check on me to make sure that parlay cards can be used on yourself. I don't know. Plays a card with Charlie Kane on it. Yes. But I assume I can use that card, right? I assume that can be done. The other new card was kind of interesting. Is Disguise. Use 4 supplies. Spend 1 supply. Evade. You get +2 for this evasion tip. If you succeed and the evade enemy is non-elite, it does not ready during the next upkeep phase. Can indeed be used on yourself, and it doesn't provoke attacks. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So I thought this was a kind of interesting card too, because if it's a non-elite enemy, I feel like Charlie's gonna be doing a lot of running away, like, because that's what he should do as a politician. Like, he's not gonna like straight up probably fight, even though I do have some fight cards in case I have to. But generally, I think he's gonna run away. So, as you can tell, I'm doing blue and green with him because by his deck building rules, you can do you have to choose 2 classes. Is the way he works, right? You choose 2 classes. So, oh, and his special card, I didn't really show it, is Bonnie. 3-cost asset. After you exhaust Bonnie, ready another ally you control, which is pretty cool. So that's what we got going on with them. For Charlie, I kind of have so far, and I'm not really like married to any of this. This is just kind of rough build. So obviously, if anyone has suggestions, I'm 100% open to all of it. From what you have seen, right? So Charlie is kind of asset heavy. Daryl is going to be this weird evidence thing, which I'm kind of thinking I'm playing him like he has to like fight, right? So if you're thinking about cards that make sense, keep that in mind. So for example, Charlie, what I'm thinking of is we're going to do some take the initiative. It's just a good skill test card to have, I feel like. We could do another cancel an attack in case we do get attacked or Charlie gets attacked. You could probably stop that from happening, right? A fast card on that. We have some resource generators in here. We have some guts in here so that we can draw cards and hopefully do things. I did give him a knife. I'm not sold on if that's a good thing to have or not. I'm kind of iffy about that. And let's see. We got a flashlight to lower the shroud on things. I feel like it's a pretty versatile card, but I'm not really completely sold on it. Then the rest are greens. So we do have a movement card of Scout Ahead. I think this is a new card too. Oh, no, it's not. Move up to 3 times. Enemies do not engage you during this movement. I like the idea of this, right? Because I feel like I want to get my issue with so I have no idea what this map is going to be like. I haven't looked up anything, but Edge of the Earth, my biggest issue is getting around places fast enough. So I like the idea of using cards that's going to help me get around the map faster. So then we have Sneak By. We can gain more resources because I feel like I'm going to need resources to pay for all these allies, right? So when this action begins, it's an evade action, gain 2 resources. Then we have, I feel like I'm missing, oh no, they're all here. So this is where we start. Oh, wait. First, we do have a gun. I'm not convinced on the gun yet either, but I feel like I should have some weapons. All right, so as far as allies go, we're looking at Dario here. Again, this is a part of why I'm going so heavy with the resource generators, because if I can get that, it gets him a higher stat line. Leo, I just like because I like the extra actions. I know he's expensive, but again, if we're getting a lot of resources, hopefully that evens out a bit. Gregory, Gry? Yeah, Gry, I guess. He has 9 uses or resources. So you can spend up to 3 resources from him. That test succeeds by the amount gain that many resources, which I like the idea of that, right? Again, gaining resources. You can kind of see small strategy I'm doing. Lonnie is just good for getting an extra fist out there. And you can do an item asset. I picked up the leather jacket too, just because he is only a 6/6 hero, and I feel like we needed like just a little more meat to him. I got a beat cop going on because beat cop is classic. I have Alice for the book, and I have Gret because I don't know, I've never really used her, and I thought it'd be fun to use her. So that's roughly what I'm looking at for Charlie. Please, 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 please let me know of any ideas you all have. 1, 2, 3. Oops, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 7, 28. Okay, so that's only 28. Yeah, the cost curve is a bit high, mainly for the assets, but the rest of it's just a little high. All right, so I'm missing 2 cards. So if there's 2 things that you think would be good for either getting the cost curve down or whatever else, let me know. All right, so really quick with Daryl. I'll do him. I'll show you the dissection tools again. This is the kind of the main card we're going to play off of here with the idea of seeing how this whole evidence thing works. I don't know how well it's going to work, but that's going to be our goal. Then we have the end of the row, which I talked about previously. That's that whole thing. And then the idol thing. So we have that. Those are all new cards. So we're going to need him to start knocking out enemies. So I am putting 2 Derringers in here in the hopes that I get one of them or, one and use them. So you get +2 attack, deal 1 additional damage. For this, if you fail, place 1 ammo back on the Derringer. I always like that. He is swinging currently only 2, so it's only going to help him up to like a 4, which is not a ton. I threw in some track shoes because I think it's always good to be able to run away just in case, because my issue is always I get into a fight and then I can never run away quite as well as I would hope I could. We have Granny in here. Again, not sold on her, but the head icon intelligence is really low, so I thought it'd be nice to have her to boost things up. Excuse me. We have 2 old key rings, just to help with location. And again, he does have 5 book, 5 intelligence. You have any lucky by chance? No, I could add that in. Which what kind of card is it? Do you mind just putting that in there so I can find it faster? Old key ring. I like for lowering the shroud. Laboratory assistant. Increase your hand size because we have a decent amount of card draw in here. And we're going to be able to draw some cards. We have higher ed, the basic version of it. Again, when you have 5 more cards, we get extra stuff, which is nice. Wit and green. Actually, I don't know if I have a tome or a relic asset. Shoot. I might have to get rid of her, actually. Oh, I do have a relic, the necklace. So I'll give me extra book. It's from the corset. It's an event. Okay, perfect. All right, then we have magnifying glass again for if we need to start investigating really hard. Medical text, I don't know. That seemed like I should probably do that because we could start healing damage from the investigators, which I think is kind of interesting. I've never really used this card before, but I feel like I have a low amount of health on both of my guys, so medical text might work in our favor. We have 2 deductions. So if this test is successful while investigating location, discover 1 additional clue at the location. Again, if we have to do a lot of clue gathering, or draw a card, right? Card draw. And then finally, I've got a plan, right? Because we can use our book for attack, deal 1 additional damage, or we have 5 book currently. So, lucky. Oh, so with that being said, I think Daryl needs more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, Daryl still needs 8 more cards. So I'm open toward whatever with him. I do have him somewhere. I gotta see what the card looks like. All right. Event, 0 cost. All right, cool. Stand together. Cool. So, that is that. What if we then do What's the other one? Red and yellow we have together? All right, cool. So with him, it's more about fighting and maybe some cheap allies. I'll test the will. Succeed, cancel that card's revelation effect. We don't have a lot of intelligence, so that doesn't work. Let's see. Ritual? No. Succeed. Bait and switch isn't terrible. Ah, the old baseball bat. Classic. Classic. Ah, good old Bob Jenkins. Alright, what's close call? Oh, that's more. Never mind. Oh, crack the case is kind of interesting. So play after the investigator discovers the last remaining clue at your location. Investigators at this location gain a total of X resources distributed as you wish. X is the location shroud value. I don't hate that idea, especially if we're going to try to give some to Charlie if we're working together until the end. So let's get that. That's an interesting one. Cryptic warnings. No. Daisy. That's our investigator. That's a 1. If the skills is successful at the location discover. Do we have this deduction? That's usually a card I like. I thought I added it, but now I'm not positive. Oh, we didn't have deduction in here. Deduction is a card I like. So we'll do that. It's a skill. End of the road. What's that? Oh, yeah, that's what we had. Okay. No, we're not gonna do that. Fight or flight. In a round, you get X fist. X is the amount of horror. I don't love that. Grizzled. Which one's that one? Oh, 2 traits. That's right. So I don't have any of the customizable cards in there either, just because I didn't want to like deal with that learning curve on top of everything else. That's not bad. That is more okay. Let's keep faith. Oh, that's that whole thing. Okay. Lucky. Lucky we put in magnifying glass. We haven't. So wait, what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 29. Oh, we only need one more card. All right, I want an ally. Ah, stray cat. Automatically evade a non-elite enemy. That's not terrible. Let's put a stray cat in for fun. That seems fun.